Temperatures have plummeted to sub-zero, and there was some fine snow and a frost on the ground this morning. So that can mean absolutely only one thing. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the cricket season is here. So we thought let's get an expert on the county scene, and none better than from the BBC, Mr. Don Topley. Don, welcome to 98 Not Out.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
Now, even though it's frosty, I noticed that you're in your trademark pink T-shirt and shorts. Nothing stops you.
No, the central heating's on. It's about 22 degrees in here. It's quite pleasant. So, yeah, the shorts are on. I won't be going outside in them, not at the moment. And, of course, the cricket season starts on Thursday. Essex hosting Worcestershire. And I doubt very much if my shorts will have an airing there either.
What are your thoughts for this year's county scene? We've got lots of tournaments, there's lots of angles. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's huge excitement. Firstly, for myself, having had a winter at home, I've not been abroad, I've not seen any international cricket. It's been harsh, it's been hard. Like everybody, we've all suffered badly. But there's excitement for Thursday because the start of the county cricket season, start of the summer as well. Okay, we're still in spring, but there is great excitement from you, me, every cricket fan, and we just pray that we can soon have fans, supporters, and in particular members back into the county cricket grounds. That's going to be really, really important. And the excitement, there's nothing better and bigger than the players, the dressing room. At the moment, there'll be 18 counties who will be so excited to perform. They've done all the work in pre-season. They've run round the ring roads. They've got their energy levels there. They've got their overs under their belts, some batting, some runs in pre-season. They will be so excited. The greatest thing about the county cricket season is actually the excitement in the dressing room. I certainly believe that, and it is, there'll be one or two who get a naught tomorrow. They'll be suffering for that, but generally speaking, everyone is so excited to be out on the park in a contest.
What do you think about Essex this year, having had a really fantastic run over the last 4 or 5 years? Can they keep it up?
Yeah, I'm excited about them. I don't see why it should be any different. They are the team to beat. They are still the current county champions from 2019. They probably held the trophy the longest, Now it's 2021. But they were also the Bob Willis Trophy champions, the winners. So listen, they are the team to beat. Everyone will aspire to being like Essex and aspire to beating them, including Worcestershire. But I believe Essex will be up there. I think they will be one of the two in this conference groups, I think it's Group A, which obviously you've got Nottinghamshire, Durham, you've got Warwickshire, Essex, you've got 6 in there. And I believe Essex will be one of the two that go through to the first division in this, what's now being called Super September.
Who are the competitors? I mean, Somerset have run us close the last few years, but who else do you see on the horizon? Surrey have got a brand new bowling attack, I've noticed. Are they going to be, do you think, a county championship side like they were in 2018, or do you think they're more limited overs with that lineup?
Well, in Essex's group, I think it will be Essex and Notts qualifying, I think. That's my guess, humble guess. In that particular group, I call it the group of death. I think it's the Group C. Group B, where there is Hampshire. Listen, Carl Abbott's back. He wasn't here last summer. Not many Colpacks were here. No overseas players. So I look at Carl Abbott and I look at the lad Abbas. You're going to work very hard for your runs when you play Hampshire. They're going to be a decent, hard-working side. So Surrey with their new red ball bowling attack, because they've got Kemar Roach, Reece Topley, and they've got Jamie Overton to add to the likes of Liam Plunkett, Ricky Clark and Jordan Clark, and 2 very able spinners in Moriarty and Verdi. So I would expect the underwhelming Surrey from 2020 to actually be on their A game. I think they're going to be pretty good. And the other team I fancy in that group is Middlesex, because Roland Jones is a terrific performer. He is 32, 33, but when he played for England, he did well. And I think their bowling attack with Murdoch in early season, Finn, Harris, look, they've got a couple of youngsters as well. Maybe the spin might be their weakness, but I actually think Middlesex will be quite a good side under Stuart Law, and they've got a new captain and have an Australian in a new captain down at Lord's. So, listen, I expect them to be competitive. Surrey and Hampshire. So, pick 2 of 3 would be my advice. Who would qualify for Division 1 out of those 3 there? Division C or Conference C, I'd probably look no further than Lancashire and Yorkshire. I hope one of the smaller minnows comes out of the blocks well. But with this conference system, if you lose a couple early doors, quickly you could lose your county championship season, because, you know, we've only got so many games before. What have we got? I think it's 8 or 9 before the T20 comes in, and then a few extra. Listen, the county championships season will still be going for some come the T20s, but for a few of them, probably half of them, the season will possibly be over. They're going to unlikely qualify for the Division 1 playoffs.
Don, you mentioned there a few of the other counties that should be posing a threat to Essex, and some of the changes that they've brought in. I guess Essex's benefit is that we've got a pretty balanced squad, and pretty consistent with the squad that's been so successful after the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at all the movers, the people who've moved from counties over the winter or last season till now, very little has changed for Essex. Very, very little. Just Patel, I think he's gone off to Leicester on a permanent move. But no, you're absolutely right. They didn't need to change much. If you look at their general bowling attack, it's consistent. It's probably not the most frightening, but you're going to work particularly hard for your runs with Siddle, Porter. Cook has done so well in the last 18 months. He's done brilliantly. Porter, we know, is a terrific bowler. Aaron Beard will have his day and he will do well. He's coming to the party. He's a little younger, but I think it's a terrific unit. And then you look at the spin aspect where you've got Simon Harmer, the best spinner in the world, best finger spinner in the world, and a terrific chap. He bowls well to keep an end tight, maybe with early on in the game. And if there's a hint of turn, he's in the game and he'll win you a game. So, there was always talk about Chetan Patel at Warwickshire being one of the world's best finger spinners. And I think over the last couple of years, and since he's retired, Chetan Patel, Simon Harmer is undoubtedly the best spinner in the world.
We had Simon on the show last week, and he told us that this current Essex squad is the fittest that he's probably ever worked with. We saw the yo-yo test, which I think Aaron Beard, who you mentioned, and Sir Alistair Cook, the evergreen Sir Alistair Cook, completed the yo-yo test. And Simon told us that he'd never seen anyone complete it ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of today's cricket compared to perhaps my era. Yes, we were fit to bowl, but we would only go to the gym really if we had time. Today, these bowlers, it's a prerequisite to go to the gym, to spend time there, to build their energy levels up, to build their endurance, to make sure they're fit. I mean, I don't want to criticise yesteryear, my era, but our era, the era of today, they're like finely tuned race animals. They really are. And you have to be fit and you have to have good endurance. And to be a bowler, even, going back to my era, it was very different where we played every day almost. Today, you still play a lot of cricket and you have to be fit. And it's a grueling schedule, even this coming summer for bowlers. you will feel it. So well done to Essex for getting themselves fit. The strength and conditioning and the fitness gurus at all these counties are they're invaluable personnel today. They really are very important. Sorry, the one area that they'll be very aware of this in the dressing room, Essex, the firm favourites, the team to beat, is runs. And last year, I think both centuries were made in the Bob Willis Trophy by Sir Alistair. I think they were.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't remember if there were anyone else who made a century in the Bob Willis, and I don't think they did. So 2 centuries to Alistair Cook. How important was Alistair Cook last season and the season before? And he will be this summer. But his batting mates need to help him. Wesley, the captain, even some of the youngsters. Brown didn't always open last year. I think he'll start this year. Paul Water, who you know very well, he's concentrating, I believe. The rumour is he's concentrating much more on his batting. He's not going to bowl as much, maybe be the 5th, maybe the 6th bowler in white ball cricket. So there's a bit more pressure on Walter as a batsman, because when you have 2 strings to your bow, if you fail in one, you can really concentrate on the other. But now you only have one asset or one skill to your bow. You've then got to make sure you perform. So I've got to be honest and say the Essex boys will be under pressure with the bat, but they cannot afford to leave it just to Sir Alistair Cook. The others need to really get some decent knocks along the way now.
So the hope is that the likes of Nick Brown, Tom Wesley will, I guess, continue to deliver. I mean, like you say, they may have been short on turning runs into tons, but they've notched up some fairly decent scores over the last few seasons. Just need to go on and get big scores.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty 20s, nice 30s don't win your games. You need, the great Graham Gooch quote is, you win with daddy hundreds. Absolutely. But, I would probably suggest that Wesley and Brown have been a bit short in the last couple of seasons, and they need to address that. Because I think it's also been the likes of Tendo coming in at 6. I think he was 5 last season, 6 in the previous season. Again, you don't want to rely on him. These guys have got to come to the party today and contribute. Really, really important, because if you start with Cook and do well, and then you lose a couple and you start, and let's say, you get to 50 or 40 for 1, and then you suddenly are 80 for 4 or 70 for 3, you're under a little bit of pressure. And something that I mentioned with Darren prior to this interview, I talked about last season that it was great to have cricket, but I was criticised last year when I publicly said before the season started in July that there were some cheap runs to be had, and there were, because there were no overseas players and there were none of these cold pack bowlers, the likes of Abbott, decent cold pack bowlers. They're going to be around as overseas players, and the overseas players will be here. So each county will have some crackerjack bowlers. So listen, but batting might be a little harder than last summer. There were some cheap runs last summer, and I still maintain that was honest, but it was great to have some cricket. But this season, batting will, against these overseas bowlers, we've got Azari Joseph at Chelmsford this week. He's a handy performer. Kemo Roach down in Surrey, and Hampshire have got Abbott back. What a cracking performer. There's a West Indian who's opening the bowling, and I think they got a batsman, Craig Braithwaite, at Gloucestershire. So nobody's got you've got some decent bowlers around to negotiate, very much so.
A lot of expectation on Dan Lawrence this year as well.
Didn't he do well? Yeah, it comes with the territory if you play for England, I think. And he did well, didn't he? What was so amazing, and I was rooting for him, probably just like you two, getting up early, watching from India. I thought he did really well. And the greatest asset I could suggest about what he offered is his temperament looked right. He didn't look out of place. His temperament was superb. And we know he's got a good all-round game. Great experience. He's back at Essex. He's got Worcestershire this week. He's probably going to have 2 knocks, and he's got to score runs. He's got to negotiate somehow to win games for Essex and importantly score runs. So a lot of excitement and a bit more pressure on his shoulders, yes.
And about 30 degrees cooler than the last time he batted.
Yes.
Looking at the T20, Don, the Vitality Blast, looks to be quite an open competition this year. Notts played fantastically well to win it last year. Desperate shame that they did it at the final in front of an empty Edgbaston, but I guess I hope that by September you'll be allowed to have some fans in. But it seems quite open. I think they'd be amongst the favourites. Essex seemed to blow hot and cold with T20, although of course we won it famously in 2019. Who are the others that you think would keep an eye on with the different squads for T20?
Yeah, I think you're right in saying Notts. I think Surrey had a terrible season in Red Bull, but did quite well with White Ball, got to the final to lose to Notts. So I'd expect them. I think they're all, if you get on a roll, and of course it's been, the fixtures are even closer together this coming summer because we have the 100 later. So the T20 is a little bit closer into the season and a bit tighter together. So fixtures come thick and fast. Anyone who can get on a roll. I know it's sort of a proverb where people often say, but if you get on a roll, you're going to do well, and winning becomes a habit.
You mentioned the 100. That sits bang in the middle of the season. Do you see that being an interference with what counties are doing this year?
Yes, it will be. But there's a consequence as well. We've already received, each county has received a lot of additional money through the 100. And they even got advance payments last year to ensure that their summer was okay from the ECB. I think the 100 isn't going away. I'm still surprised by the format of the 100, but I'm nonetheless, I will encourage something new because I think something new that is bigger and better will sit on the world's top table. And I do believe it will happen. And, I do believe we might see some Indian cricketers play in due course. But it's going to be troublesome for some counties. For instance, I don't know if it's Notts or Sussex, they're going to lose majority of their players. Essex, meanwhile, they lose one, I believe. That's Dan Lawrence. He goes off to the London Spirit. So I hope Essex fans will follow his good fortune at London Spirit at Lords. But losing only just the one player for Essex, I've put my house on Essex winning the Royal London One Day Cup.
It seems to be a real shot in the arm for women's cricket as well. Just seeing who's turning up to play the women's teams. I think this could be the thing that really puts women's cricket fairly and squarely at the centre of attention this year.
I hope so, because I think they deserve it. I think they've gone through a troubled time, but hopefully this 100 will raise the quality. And I think that will happen in the men's as well. We will see a different type of quality in the 100 in white ball cricket. And I think it's very important that for the ladies, actually, to find a better standard, and they will. And we're certainly having some superstars of the women's game come and play over here. So that's only good news, and long may that continue. So I hope to watch some of the ladies' cricket this year, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So that's a little bit later into the summer, once the sun comes out.
And the good news is from the BBC is that their commitment to covering the county season remains as strong as ever. And you were obviously a big part of that. Ball-by-ball coverage on every single county championship game this year, I believe.
Yeah, what a great service it is. Yes, they just signed a new 4-year deal. Very important to county cricket, that is, in particular. Every game, professional game that is played throughout the country is available on DAB, on the online. It's a tremendous service with a tremendous set of commentators who dearly love the game. So whatever your penchant is, if it's Essex, if it's Surrey, if it's Yorkshire, whoever, and millions really do click into it, to the service. And it's a great service. And as I say, over these 4 days, this first 4-day county championship, I'm at Chelmsford. It's on 5 Live Sports Extra, and it's also on BBC Essex online and BBC Hereford and Worcester. So it's a great service, and long may that continue.
Are there any changes amongst the lineup that we can be expecting to hear?
No, the 5 at Essex, all under the boss, which is Glenn Speller, Dick Davis, Paul Newton, David Brett, Nick Ledhill and myself. We all share the season. We sort of almost do a fifth. I suppose diplomatically, I'm a bit like Marmite. Some people love it, some people are not so keen, but we have somebody for every occasion. You've got Nick, who contributes. He loves his stats. Dick is very much a computer brain. And you've got people like Paul Newton, who is an absolute academic. I've never known him to be wrong in anything. He loves his Latin. He's an absolute academic, knows everything, never argue with him.
I suppose we can't let you go without asking about the boy himself, Mr. Reece J.W. Topley. How's his winter been? How's he going?
Yes, thank you for asking. He's well. I think he's hoping to play in the Red Bull fixture at Bristol, which obviously started today, Thursday. Hopefully they won the toss and he got a few wickets, but we won't know. Yeah, he's well. He had a fantastic time in India. He went to South Africa before Christmas on the England aborted T20 and ODI tour. He was due to play in the ODIs and unfortunately they came home because of COVID. He then went to India, started training in England. You'll be amazed to hear this, that England's elite sport, a bowler representing England, he was struggling to bowl in nets, indoor or outdoor, in their marquee at batsman in sort of January and a bit of February because COVID protocol didn't allow you to bowl at batsman 22 yards away. Okay, very sad. You could have 2 carpet fitters fit a carpet in a 3x3 metre room, but you couldn't bowl at a batsman 22 yards away. So he got out to India, then had to isolate in his hotel room, which, it isn't great. It isn't great. You just get your 3 meals served at the base of your door and you take them in, you eat them, put them back out there, and you don't move from your room. And then he went to Ahmedabad to train with the boys in the 4th Test match, and unfortunately the nets were terrible, absolutely terrible. So he couldn't bowl at batsman there. It was only when they got to Pune, sort of the day before the ODIs, did he have the first opportunity to bowl at a batsman 22 yards away. So a lot of the bowlers, and in particular the bowlers, were undercooked in India. And I thought we lost the Test series, and I thought we lost the Test series fair and square, despite winning the first Test. We weren't expected to beat India. But what was interesting for me, I thought England actually did quite well in the T20s, but India grew and grew better over the course of those 5 T20s, and India got better in the ODI as well. But we did compete. We lost the series 3-2 in the T20s and 2-1 in the ODIs. And I thought Reece Topley performed quite well out there. So I think he's looking forward to the summer, and he's looking forward to enhancing his England career later in the summer.
All right, so and Reece is injury-free, he's pain-free?
Yes, he is at the moment. I think Surrey will need to look after him, overs-wise. But I always look around, and I've looked around it. Toby Rowland-Jones is back after his stress fractures. He's had a horrible time. Don't think he had an operation, but he's had probably 4 years of injuries. I'm pleased to say he's back. Pat Brown, he's coming back. I don't think he's going to be seen at Chelmsford this week, but I do believe he will play for Worcestershire, and he's an England hopeful as well. Look, bowling is brutal, and it's just lovely to see these guys back, 1 without pain and 2 performing their skills. It's great to see that, and long may they continue.
Well, I think I can speak for all of us that we are absolutely thrilled to be having domestic cricket back at club level and at county level, and we look forward to hearing the superb coverage from yourself and your colleagues at the BBC. Here's looking forward to a proper 2021 season. There's lots to follow and lots to look forward to. And let's hope for some success for the mighty Essex.
Absolutely. And we look forward immensely to seeing crowds back into these grounds. We've missed them. We really have missed them. And the players have missed them. So let's get them back in as soon as they can, safely.
Don Topley from BBC Essex, many, many thanks.